Coming up next on BBC Two, it's the Brad Woto stream, but first, it's time for What Picture Has Bradley Drawn Onto a Piece of Paper?
Gentlemen, it's fucking time. Time for another fantastic edition of What Did Braid Draw? With your host, it's me. What did I draw on a piece of paper today? Give you a clue, it's not a masterwork. It is absolutely not a masterwork. It is not the best thing I've ever drawn. A full English breakfast is the first suggestion, Imagi. Could it be Ghost Rider? Could it be Orc Shish? A triple triad Bahamut card. Gabe as BJ Blazkowicz gunning down Flathead. A solid guess, because I definitely know what Gabe looks like. Okay, Big Smoke's order. Is this it? Bodes well, doesn't it? No one here today to vote on the one day where all we do is vote for things. It always bodes very well. See if you can guess. What is drawn on a piece of paper for you today? What has he drawn, guys? Hi Phil.
And I'm coming.
Probably should have saved that. Probably should have saved that resub. We've got wheel spins that you can do today. But I'll take the money anyway. Thank you, my good friend. Oh, I killed Shadow. Killing him. Killing him. Keep forgetting. God damn it. I forgot again. Forgetful Phil, they call him. Thanks for the resub, old pal. I'll take the cash, don't get me wrong. Alright, you think I drew Gabe as BJ Blazkowicz gunning down at Flatheads. I can reveal to you now that in fact, what I drew was a Buster sword, and it says, Bustin' makes me feel good. Wow, my fingers go the wrong way. Bustin' makes me feel good, with a little smug smiler on there, a little one of these. A little smug smiler. Oh, a cheeky little smiler. Oh, what a cheeky little smiler he is. My buttons aren't working. Uh-oh. The old buttons aren't working. What a cheeky smiler you are, son. A cheeky smiler. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Das Stream. I'll tell you what, I am looking forward to playing more Wolfenstein. But I picked up Man in the High Castle again, if you've ever seen that show. And, mate, they cooked in Season 4. I'm on Season 4 and they are cooking. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a slightly older show. It's a few years old now. So if you've seen it, you've probably already seen it. And I know it was like all the rage when it came out. But also I feel like you have to be over the age of 35 to even watch it and enjoy it properly, because, you know, I wouldn't have watched it when I was 21. But they cooked with Season 4. And from what I understand, that show went through like production hell. I think they had a different showrunner. Season 1 and the first part of Season 2 had one showrunner, and then he fucking quit. Then they had a different showrunner for the back end of Season 2. Then they had a different showrunner for Season 3. Then they had a different showrunner for Season 4. You can kind of tell as well. There was a couple of points. I only know this information because I suspected it. And I did a quick Google. I was like, what's going on with this? Because it's a really good show, and generally it holds pretty solid cohesion, like a family resemblance from season to season. It's cohesive and it follows. One of the things that I like about it, one of the things that I genuinely I don't know, I'm happy about, I guess, that the show does, is it doesn't do that thing where it keeps introducing new characters every season and expanding the roster. It continues to follow the same, pretty much all of the same characters from Season 1 only through to Season 4. It does introduce new characters here and there because obviously it's going to. But for the most part, it really follows the same handful of characters the whole time. And I appreciate that, because a lot of shows get tempted to expand their roster over and then they dilute that character exploration. I wouldn't say it's the best show I've ever seen in my entire life or anything, but it's very good. It's very, very good. I think it slows down a little bit in Season 2, and I would imagine that some of the showrunner leaving situation, they probably didn't even have a showrunner for the back end of Season 2. It probably just fell to all of the fucking producers to pull it together. And Season 3 feels a little different to all of the other ones in some ways, but my god, man, I'm really enjoying Season 4. I really enjoyed Season 1 and I'm really enjoying Season 4. I'm really sad there's an actor who was in it, I don't know who he is, but he plays the Japanese trade minister. He's not in the fucking season because he didn't fucking show up for the because he was doing some other show at the time, and he was one of my favourite characters. I'm sad he's not in it. But beyond that, man, they cooked the fuck out of that 4th season. Loved it. Loving it. Still watching it. Really good, man. And I fell off of it because it was just a bit too intense for me I was watching it over winter, or like a little while ago. I don't know when I was watching it now that I think about it, but I was watching it and it was like, because it's so stressful, right? Because it's very much like the Nazis and the Reich are in control, so everyone is stressed. You know, everyone is it's like when you watch a movie and a Nazi movie and they have like Jews hiding, like at the beginning of that fucking movie with Quentin Tarantino movie where they're hiding under the floorboards. They give you that sort of that Anne Frank feel of what it must have felt like to be hiding constantly from these horrible like fascists. And they the whole show is that. The fucking whole show is that, but it has this sci-fi element, and I think because they kind of amp up a little bit of that sci-fi element in Season 4, because it's my shit, multiversal stuff is my shit when they do it, and it's very subtle in this show. They do not rely on it at all. It does sort of become that anime gate but in all the good things about that anime and not all the horrible, weird stuff about it. But there's a couple of things in that final season that I just love, man. The way that they execute some of my favorite approaches to that kind of parallel world show. I love it. I'm such a big fan of it. I love the way they did it in Fringe. There's a show called Counterpart, which I cannot believe they cancelled this show. It was so good. It was like a spy thriller, pretty similar, but leaned much more heavily on the sci-fi element. But they were all spies. And it's pretty reminiscent of that, this 4th season. Man in the High Castle, really good, man. It's fucking I love it, dude. Well in on it, but yeah, it's intense. It's pretty stressful. It's pretty rough to watch at times. Loved it. Really, they're cooking the fuck out of the 4th season. I know that I went off on a tangent there, but I was thinking about, first of all, I was thinking about Gabe. I was thinking about how he is German. And how you suggested that he was BJ Blazkowicz and he was killing all of the people that he needs to ban in the chat room. And then that made me think about how much I'm enjoying Wolfenstein and I'd like to continue playing it, which I will do tomorrow. And I'm curious about what the other games in the series have to offer. I almost want to watch a video. I kind of almost want to go back and play like the OG Wolfensteins, but I think I might just watch a video. What happened in the first ones? I kind of wish that I'd done that at the beginning of this, to be honest. And then it made me think about Man in the High Castle. And now I want to watch World War II movies. They just released a new one, didn't they? Operation Mincemeat. I saw it. It popped up on my Amazon Prime and I was like, perfect. I'm going to watch some World War II. I'm going into my World War II divorced dad era. I need a girlfriend or a boyfriend. I'll take any. Just, can we get one? Can I get one delivered? Because I'm about to hit that World War II dad era, which is one step before the Roman Empire, and then it's all over. You've become a meme. You become the very thing you swore to destroy. It's not true. I am the creator of memes. Woke up this morning and I thought it was very, very early. I was like, oh no. I feel fully awake. You know when you wake up and you're like, uh-oh, I actually feel like I'm fully awake and I'm not going back to sleep right now. And I looked at the time and it was 9:30. I actually kind of got some sleep last night, which is bizarre. So I don't feel too bad. I actually feel a little bit rested for the first day. It's like that I've had maybe 5 nights of sleep where it feels like I actually got actual rest from some of the sleep. I did wake up at one point last night because I'm too old now. I think because I'm on so much medication, I need to pee so badly in the middle of the night. TMI, but I need to pee so badly. I wake up in the middle of the night now. I mean, this has been happening since I hit my mid-30s regardless. The inability to make it through the entire evening without pissing. I'll tell you what, enjoy it. If you're young and if you just go to bed and you wake up in the morning and then you pee, that's the best, dude. It's been so long. But I needed to pee so badly, and I think because I'm on medicine, because you got, whenever you take anything, if you take a fucking 1/2 of a paracetamol, you need to wake up in the middle of the night and pee. It's just part of it. But my god. But yeah, I slept all the way through till like 9:30 this morning, and then almost threw up. I woke up and I texted Liam and was like, hey, do you want to go for a walk a bit earlier today? Because I just have some stuff I want to do and I want to get back in time to prep all of this. And he didn't respond, and I was like, oh, it's weird. It's a Sunday. Don't know what he could possibly be up to. A couple of hours later, I was like, hey, do you want to you good? He didn't respond, and I was like, fuck, he's done it. He's done it. He's done. He's fallen over in the shower and he's hit his head. He's dead. His WhatsApp wasn't working. His WhatsApp wasn't working. I thought I was going to have to go and knock on his door. I was like, oh Christ, I'm going to have to go and find his corpse. That's just what I need. That's just what I fucking need. Go and find his fucking corpse. Oh yeah, my friend is, he's dead. My only friend is dead. Yep. I want to play, I want to play Black Myth Wukong. I think I'm probably the only person in the world who's interested in playing it. I haven't heard anything about it so far, but I am. I'm kind of up for playing it, and I think I might play it. What do you think?
Can you afford it?
No, I can't. I can't afford it. So we should probably spin the wheel today, huh? We get some wheel spins. Listen, okay, just shut your mouth. We're gonna go ahead and play this D&D game today. If you're here for, you like D&D, there was a new episode of Oracle's Rest last night on Table Story, which is a big game with all of my friends in. The new episode of that will go up on Table Story tonight. There's also Cura, a game that I run on Tuesdays. Yes, Wolfenstein after or before Wukong, though. Well, guess what, Plumrug? We've been playing it all week. And you've been here. So what do you think? I mean, sometimes you guys are mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling. It does make me feel better about myself, though. Because I sit here some days and I'm like, oh God, I'm so stupid. I'm such a big, fat dum-dum. All of my friends are like hyper-intelligent and I'm like, I know different shapes. I know 3 different shapes. And they're like, really good, Brad. You're really fucking... And then you lot come in here with shit like that. And I go, you know what? I might be dumb compared to my friends, but my God. Plumrug needs to go back to bed. Plumrug, you need to go back to bed, mate. The shame of it. The absolute shame of it. Alright, what do you say to a little bit of D&D, boys? Shadow wasn't here last week, so we got to catch him up.
Under a tiny world will take a person only a matter of weeks to travel from one side to the other. Once a lush, verdant planet, Rixander's rain had stopped falling. What had stopped it? And how? Was this something to do with the warring empires? Was it a new unknown threat? Or perhaps it was the new Magitech and steam-powered technology from the Hutchtan Matriarchy or Kosus Reinti. Long ago, the world was treated as an experiment by the gods. They were trying to discover the most powerful species they could make. Just a fun game for them became our world as we know it, in the finals of the Kraven trials. Humans faced off against Noms. The humans won. In a final test, the gods pitted the humans against the dragons. The dragons tore the world apart, leaving magic unstable, destroying any semblance of society. Now, after 1,000 years, the Mans have rebuilt. 2 great kingdoms, constantly at war, and between them, the last forest. The only place of green in our dying world. And inside that forest, the last Nom. My name is Gary, and this is my story.
That's right. It is time to continue with our story. Gary travelled from the random position in the desert that he was in with the well, actually he didn't really travel anywhere. He was at the area where there were the large pillars of obsidian and sigils on them. he encountered the second lieutenant of Saber, the villain that we created a couple of weeks ago. You had defeated the first lieutenant, Shadow the Wreck God, and Amnesu. You then faced off pretty much immediately last week against Bulezau Molmoth, who was a kind of ice-based demon, summoning up lots of different things. The fight was somewhat one-sided, I would say. You guys had to fight the Mephits that he summoned, as well as the demon himself. But you did successfully defeat the second Lieutenant Molmoth. At the end of that, on a sort of random wheel spin, you finished the puzzle that was from like 3 weeks ago. There was all of these different pillars with moon. You had to block some moonlight out and it opened a door. That's what happened. You opened a doorway, revealing a desolate and empty mine underneath the desert here, which we then immediately procedurally generated. Everything that we're doing is procedurally generated. It's a procedurally generated D&D game. The desolate mine of Axun. Gary, Seg, and Smasher went down into followed these steps down into the mine, which is where we pick up today. The 3 characters wander into an ancient rare gem mine, operated once a long time ago from an empire known as the Thorosians. Abandoned long ago. Thank you, Q Margie, getting the wheel spins going. You're starting with a wheel spin today, I haven't forgotten. Over time, the mine has become a refuge for various desert creatures, including a tribe of ogres. Recently, the mine has been overtaken by a demon named Ineg. And you wandered into this mine with the intent of, I don't know, exploring it because it's D&D. So we have this dungeon now that was entirely created during last week's session. We start today with a wheel spin though, because there was one ode, and I just want to note that there is some extra sections. Thank you, Daniel. There's some extra sections on the wheel spin today, which are known as dungeon effects. So while you're in this dungeon, so I don't know if it's just this week or next week or whatever, there is dungeon effects. So if you land on one of these, there are 3 white segments on there that say dungeon effects. We then roll a d12 to get one of these random 12 dungeon effects that are on there. I don't know what's in here. There are 6 positive ones and 6 negative ones. That's what I do know. So that's what we've got going on. So when we spin the wheel today, and for the, however many weeks, I don't know if you're going to beat this whole dungeon today, or you end up, being here for weeks and weeks and weeks, because it's very random, this game. Then when we spin the wheel, there are dungeon effects on there. So let's see. Let's begin. Yeah, like a battleground effect. Oof. Spin for the enemy. Alright, well I'm going to spin for the enemy. There isn't necessarily an enemy right next to you, but I'll spin for the enemy. No, what did I say? If there isn't an enemy, then we just spin again. So we're just going to spin again. There is no enemy here, so we'll just spin immediately. A potion. Okay, great. You immediately get a potion. Okay. Potion generator, please. Why isn't this working? It's annoying. Alright, I'll use this one for today. 1D100. 74. Potion of invisibility. Fuck yeah. So we start the day as Gary's walking along. He hears the clink of bottles as he gains one potion of invisibility. Okay, so you have a potion of invisibility. You have a vial of vile flesh. You got some gold dust. You got a potion of wall walking. Potion of fire breath. Potion of levitate. Good items. Shadow, thanks for the 2 gift subs, my friend. Let's begin. So the 3 party members now step into this desolate mine, stepping down the steps covered in sand, sand sort of sifting down through this sort of partially collapsed entranceway. Large debris, boulders, broken, more of these kind of obsidian obelisks block parts of the way. They have to move around and climb over parts to climb down and into the first chamber here. The entire place feels a little unstable, with sand kind of trickling down through cracks in the ceiling as the 3 party members kind of move down. They come to the first chamber, which is sort of the entranceway to this thing, where the debris has fallen. It has collapsed in such a way that it's blocking the exit from this chamber / the entrance to the next chamber. You can see that it is mostly rocks and sand, but there is one of these large kind of obelisks that's tipped over and blocked a pretty decent chunk of this. I guess what does Gary do? We just jump straight in here with what does Gary do, because the entranceway is currently blocked. The entrance is blocked by debris. What does Gary do? The choice is yours, chat. Taking suggestions from the chat room. What do you want Gary to do? Hi, PB. Rest. Does he need a rest? I can't remember. Try the other door is hilarious. Yeah, okay. Any other suggestions? This is the part where you need to suggest, chat. Otherwise, I'm just playing D&D by myself. Cast Thunder Wave. Break through. Search the rubble. Look up and take the exit that is clearly visible. Turn it off and on again. Alright. You know what? There's your options. You may vote. So you can vote on what happens here. It's entirely up to you. You vote by typing the number next to the option that's in the chat room. Or it is on the screen even. Is Sting sentient enough for us to communicate with? You can communicate with... You have a little pet scorpion. You can communicate with him as a sort of free action, just to send generic commands to, requests to Alternatively, you have to like cast a proper spell. So that's a wheel spin. You've got a wheel spin coming up once we get back to the other screen. Thank you, Bew Bew, for the resub. How you doing? The choice is yours. What would you like Gary to do? Rest. Okay. A long rest or a short rest? Let me have a quick look at Gary's situation here. Gary has got 12 HP out of 29. He's got 1 wild shape left. He's got a full complement of spells. He's got all of his spell slots. Not much HP. All of his hit dice. I don't know when druids get their stuff back. Short rest, he gets his wild shapes back. I'm assuming spells on a long rest. Oh, druids are the most confusing. This is the worst. The apps. If I could go back in time and change anything, it would be having Gary be a druid. The spell slots. Druids choose spell slots to recover. The spell slots have a combined level that is equal to or less than half the druid's level rounded up. Fucking Christ. It doesn't matter because you've got all of your spell slots, but it's easily the most complex and annoying one for what we want to be a very simple, streamlined approach to D&D. Gary turns to Smasher and to Seg and says, I think we should take a short rest. A long rest. Seg says back, alright, I'll set up the camp. He starts setting things up. They back themselves up against the sort of blocked entrance exit way, and just set up a small kind of area where they can begin their rest. This is when I need to... Oh, I haven't turned on the dice roller. This is when you guys are going to roll some dice for me, but you have to wait a second. I haven't actually turned on the dice roller yet. Okay. I need you guys to roll me a D20. And I'm also going to spin the wheel. We'll take the first number rolled. Exclamation point roll D20 in the chat. Something good will also happen here. Something good will also happen. First, we see if you are attacked during your rest by a monster. You've rolled a 4. That actually is not an encounter. So you will not encounter a monster during this long rest. I think that you, we sort of as a group, we see the 3 characters that we have now. We've got Gary, who is a little gnome. Where is Gary's artwork? Why does it no longer exist? Smasher, who is this bird paladin, and Seg, who is a kobold who has got this skull over his face, kind of like a Marowak. The 3 of them settle down in this chamber. Some relative safety here with the doorway being blocked, and really the only other way in appears to be the way that they climbed down over all of the steps and over all of the and down through that tiny hole in the desert above them, setting up watches, and the 3 of them taking their turns. They rest for enough time that I think everybody recovers all of their HP, so you're at full HP. Gary gets his wild shape back, or his second wild shape back. Seg will also get full HP. I don't know what he's on. I don't think it matters for these guys because of the way they're set up like NPCs, so they actually will be, if we need a battle map, they'll be at full HP when the time comes. Everyone rests, and then something good happens. Now this is kind of like a minor Deus Ex Machina, so something good happens. But what? Suggestions from the chat. Some sort of minor good thing will now happen to them. What? What is it? Suggestions from the chat room. While settling down to rest, they find a hidden way through the rubble. A small earthquake, terrifying, uncovers the rubble. Someone doesn't have an anxiety disorder. Uncovers. The next trap against us is broken. Sting evolves is not really a minor thing. One of the curses is lifted, no longer seeing in 2D. The debris wakes up and moves out of the way. Very Beauty and the Beast. Alright, no more suggestions? Okay. Something good happens. Which one do you want to happen? Every single one of you sweaty tryhards here. But I'll allow it because you paid for it. Well, Anonymous did, whoever Anonymous is. Anonymous. Okay. No longer see in 2D. When Gary wakes up from his rest, the sand has been trickling down into his eyes. He wakes up.
Ah, bastard! I can't see Sig. I've gone blind.
Seg comes running over and says, "Oh shit, Give me your water skin, Smasher. Smasher nods and hands her water skin over to Seg. He says, right, this is going to suck. And he grabs Gary's face. What are you doing? And opens his giant pink eyes and starts flushing them out with water. Flushing the sand out with the water.
Bastard! You bastard, what are you doing?
The 6 arms on Gary slapping away at Seg's hands, but Seg kind of pinning him down and flushing his eyes out.
You've got sand in your eyes, mate. You've got sand in your eyes. You slept under a crack.
As he washes the eyeballs out, Gary's pink eyes take on a blue hue to them briefly. Yes, it was Dune spice. He got a little sprinkling of Dune spice in his eyes, washing out the sand and the spice. Gary blinks a few times, the blue to his eyes returning to pink with a sort of redness around the edges of his eyes. He says, oh, you know what? I think you've cleared out whatever was ailing me before, Seg. I can see better than ever. And he no longer has the curse that was on him, which is, I think, what happened, right? One of these things. He's got a curse where he loses all concept of table manners. His smile causes fear in children. He always trips if he's chased. And any water carried by Gary, I forgot about this one, that would have been devastating if he had used his own water skin. 2D vision. Gary is only able to see in 2D. It affects his perception score by -4. Was that really how much? We can remove that. He now has his perception score back. So his perception is now +4. Damn. I wouldn't call that something very good. I'd call that something. I wouldn't call that something good. I'd call it something very good. Okay. Well, we still need to figure out what you want to do next. There is still the problem of the doorway. The doorway is blocked by debris. What does Gary do? Suggestions from the chat room, please. Hi, Toodle. Examine the debris. Will moving it cause a collapse? Any other suggestions? Now's the time. Use thaumaturgy to create tremors to try and shake the rubble loose. Painstakingly clear the debris. Look for a small opening for the arachnid. Shadow, this is the same, isn't it? It's painstakingly. Call out, see if anyone's on the other side. Simply just try and move the fucking debris. Ask Sting, the scorpion, to find another path. Okay. The choice is yours, chat. The doorway is blocked by debris. What does Gary do? The choice falls to you. You can vote by typing the number in the chat room next to the thing that you want to, you want Gary to do. The choice once again falls to you. Examine the debris. Will moving it cause a collapse? Okay, this one's going to be an investigation check from you in the chat room. Exclamation point, roll d20 in the chat, and you'll start rolling dice. The dice, it will pick a random number. The winning roll will be what you make. We take the second roll from now on because we want to clear out the previous roll. So everyone just start rolling dice. Not that 20, unfortunately. The next roll is what we're going to take. Your investigation check is a +2, so you have a +2 to this roll for Gary. A 14 +2, 16. Let's see here. Entirely procedurally generated, this game is. You have to beat a 13. So Gary starts looking over this rubble, trying to figure out if clearing it will cause some sort of collapse, if it could be dangerous to do so. Gary spots two things, I think, on a 16. One, that there is potentially multiple ways through this. It's possible that Gary and Seg, maybe not Smasher, could squeeze through some of the gaps in the debris and actually just kind of pop through. It's also certainly possible to move some of the debris out of the way without causing any sort of collapse here. But obviously the debris is quite heavy, so someone with significant strength would have to do it. Gary has a -2 to strength. Seg has got a -2 to strength. Smasher's got a +4 to strength. The options here are essentially that each party member can try and make checks to try and break through. Either strength to try and lift the heavier rocks, dex to try and squeeze through, but it won't cause a collapse. Let's keep some of these. Thaumaturgy to create ground tremors. Clear the debris, strength check. Look for a small opening for the arachnid, you can do that. Call out, you can still do. Move the debris, it's the same thing, isn't it? See if Sting can find another path. Any other options here? I mean, the options are this. Strength athletics. Dex acrobatics. To squeeze through. There's your options. What would you like to do here? Strength athletics will lift the heavier rocks. Dexterity to try and squeeze through. Alternatively, you still have the options of the other things suggested by the chat. This dungeon was generated last week by people in the chat room, where we put into ChatGPT a mine built by a foreign empire located deep within a desert occupied by a demon who controls demonic ogres. There had to be flooding chambers, and there had to be a spell book of a notorious mage in here as well. And that is the dungeon you're currently moving through. A procedurally generated dungeon in front of you today. Attempt the strength athletics check. Now, I'm guessing you would like to have Smasher do this. Is that the plan? Have Smasher try and lift some of the rocks. Gary says,
"Can you try and move that rock there? I think if we just move that out of the way, we could all get through. What do you think, Smasher? You're big, you're strong."
Smasher can only speak in puns. So I always have to look up puns about being strong. Smasher says, whenever Smasher speaks, by the way, it's in a completely different accent or an impression or something, because Smasher can only mimic things. So Smasher says, working out my abs is such a waste, and then points to her waist, of time. Welcome to the Maya stream. Okay, let's have Smasher attempt a strength check athletics. She has a +5 to her athletics checks. A 21. Smasher gets her kind of hands, feathered looking hands, underneath one of the larger looking rocks that does seem to be completely blocking the way. Moving it with a tensing and a thrust of strength, squatting down and rolling this thing out of the way. The Kenku Paladin is able to roll a huge boulder out of the way. It isn't. She makes it look easy, but it's a pretty significant boulder that she moves and rolls out of the way, revealing the entranceway to the second chamber. Smasher kind of looks down, peering through. There doesn't appear to be anything rushing forward and trying to get each of you and trying to kill each of the party members. So Smasher takes a cautious step and heads through, followed by Seg. Gary looks backwards, the form of Sting, the scorpion, just kind of running over his body. He steps through as well into the next chamber. This chamber contains several large hollow statues of long-forgotten deities to the Therosian Empire. Looking about, Gary's kind of awestruck, I think, by the images depicted on these statues. They're very strange-looking individuals, kind of alien-looking. Sand is pouring from the mouths of the statues, filling the chamber slowly. There is no obvious way out of this chamber. You can see, I imagine, so that this is all I've been given. I have to invent this puzzle right now. The sand starts pouring out of their mouths as soon as the three individuals enter into the chamber. Pouring down onto the ground. Looking at the ground, Gary takes a quick glance at the things around, and you can see a mosaic of a sun with rays extending outwards from this pattern on the ground. The sand begins to fall into 4 places from the 4 different statues of the mouths of these sort of deity-looking figures. It begins to quickly cover some of this mosaic. Sand is filling the chamber. What does Gary do? Choices from the chat room. I was the head writer for Seinfeld. That was me, yeah. Correct. The choice is yours. What would you like to do? Eat the same. Eat the sand. Plug the mouths of the statues with rot grubs. Put sand in bag of holding. Find something to stand on. Examine the mosaic. Ice knife on the mouths of the statues. Find a brick trigger in the wall. Try to climb up to the ceiling. Okay, the choice is yours, chat. What would you like to do? Don't judge me, I have to keep eating because I'm rapidly losing weight and it's terrifying. Examine the mosaic. Okay. This will be an investigation check from Gary, so you can start rolling. Exclamation point, roll d20. +2 to your investigation check on Gary's sheet. And we take the second roll. The second roll. Not that 10. A 7 +2 from your intelligence makes that a 9. Gary quickly sort of scurries across the chamber, looking over the image of the mosaic. It's lots of different colored tiles on the ground that kind of clearly make up this image of a sun with rays of light extending outwards. Some of the rays go to the corners of the room, some of them go to the middle parts of the room. They don't really seem to indicate anything to Gary that makes an immediate answer to this puzzle, to what might be going on here, but it is very obviously kind of laid out. He looks up at the statues where the rays connect with the statues. It doesn't seem to mean anything to him. In a sort of confused panic, he just starts moving around on the mosaic, seeing if anything necessarily happens. A few of the tiles press, as he steps on them, click, almost as if they're sort of mechanical. They kind of press downwards maybe a centimeter as he steps on them, but nothing seems to happen. He does discover that with some of these tiles he's able to press them downwards, but it seems completely random. Sand is filling the chamber. What does Gary do? I'll leave some of these in here, I guess. Eat the sand could be in there. Plug the mouths with rock grubs. Find something to stand on. Examine the mosaic you've done. Ice knife. A brick trigger you don't need. What else? Any other suggestions? Take iron brews and throw one in each statue's mouth. Oh, and the poll has begun. And the poll has begun. The room filling with sand. What does Gary do? The choice falls to you. Plug the mouths of the statues with rock grubs. Gary turns to you, audience members, and says,
Rock grubs? I've not got any. What are you talking about?
Gary is not aware that he's cursed and that all of the water he drinks is filled with rock grubs. Of the rooms filling with sand, just one, wouldn't the weight of the sand press all of the tiles down, opening the door? I will end the stream. I will end the stream right here, right now. Other suggestions? What does Gary do? Let's have a sense of urgency. What does this sound like? That's a lot of a sense of urgency. The room filling with sand. Light torch. You can actually see in here. Cast warding wind. Follow sun rays and search walls. The room is now filling with sand. It's beginning to get difficult to see the mosaic on the ground. Does Gary have dark vision?
Yeah.
I don't think the other two do, though, do they? Yeah, Seg does. Smasher doesn't. Smasher can't see anything. Stumbling around in the dark. A Street Fighter theme. Round 1. Fight. Follow the sun rays and search the walls. Okay. It's going to be another investigation check for Gary. A +2 to this check. From the chat room. Exclamation point roll D20 in the chat. to roll your die. Suikoden combat theme. The room filling up with sand. Is that a fucking 4? Did you just roll a 4? And you have a +2? Uh-oh. A 6! The room continues to fill with sand. Gary rushing to each of the sun rays where the mosaic goes, the different colored tiles that lead to the sides of the walls. He rushes over to each of the walls. His 6 hands begin pressing at the stone, the limestone that makes up the kind of walls here. Studying the walls, a few of them have some cracks in them. Some of them seem to be more sort of stone, built stone, but there isn't really like bricks or anything obvious that seems to be sticking out to Gary. He moves from one sun ray to the next, begins to lose the sun, and now he's kind of climbing over lumps of filling sand as this room begins to fill the mouths of these statues, now almost completely covering the ground itself. No obvious no obvious answers come to Gary. There isn't any standing bricks that stand out. There isn't any buttons. There isn't any real understanding of how this puzzle works as you're looking over this room. The statues continue to pour sand out. How tall is the ceiling? The ceiling is 60 feet up. Kind of domes a little bit. Okay, back to the drawing board for you guys. Sand is filling the chamber. What does Gary do? Anything up there? Just the ceiling. With the puzzle mechanism triggering the sand to rush in count as a trap? I don't understand the question. Stuff the mouths? You got a couple of options to stuff the mouths. Have you? Stuff the mouths. Alright. Qmagi, thank you for the 2 gifted subs there. Bobin, thank you very much for the sub. The Bobin. The Bobin. Sand filling the room, now almost completely covering the floor, pooling at the 4 areas just underneath the 4 statues. What would you like to do? Launch an ice knife spell at the statues. Okay. Spells. Ice knife. Consume 1 spell slot. Ice knife. You create a shard of ice and fling it at one creature within range. Make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes 1d10 piercing damage, hit or miss. Then the shard explodes. The target and creature within 5 feet of it must succeed on the dex saving throw. Technically, it's not a creature, but I'll allow this for the sake of it being interesting. There is a moment where Gary summons up a shard of ice, and then he flings it with one of his 6 arms towards this statue, the sand falling out of the mouth of it. You see it strike the sand, the area around the mouth of this sort of giant limestone statue. For a moment it kind of freezes the sand a little, but not very much. Then it explodes into shards of ice that just launch all across this room. I'd go so far as to say this does absolutely nothing. Sand continues to fill the room. What does Gary do? Ice knife did nothing. Any other options? Go back into the previous room, see if that stops the sand. Describe the statues. Do they look the same? Yes, they look the same. What you're looking at is a strange sort of robed figure holding a sun disk above its head with its mouth open. Kind of a humanoid looking thing. Very basic, eroded looking, ancient looking statues with their mouths very cartoonishly wide with sand falling out of it. You other than that, they look pretty much exactly the same. Go back to the previous room, see if it stops the sand. The 3 individuals that are in the room, Gary, Seg, and Smasher, scramble back through the opening, moving one at a time to get through. Gary peers down and looks into the other room. The chamber continues to fill with sand. He looks to Seg, Seg shrugs. He looks to Smasher, Smasher shrugs. And Gary says, "Oh, shite. I don't know what to do with this one." What does Gary do? Sand is filling the chamber. Perhaps another suggestion from chat. Chen says, spin the fucking wheel. That's how we fix this. We spin the bloody wheel. Let's do that first. I don't know what that is on or why it isn't. What does that say, chat? It's the orange one. Wild Magic or Deus Ex? It's either Wild Magic or a Deus Ex Machina. I think it's Wild Magic. It's okay, Wild Magic. This almost is always just a curse, by the way. It's one thing I'm learning from the D10,000 Wild Magic surge. I have a D10,000 Wild Magic. There is essentially the spell wind. In this campaign. 7,343. Imagine we rolled that before. 7,343. 7,343. The target's head seems to double in size when he's angered. As if he wasn't physically already completely insane to look at. Now, oh, great. When Gary gets angry, his head doubles in size. An absolute freak of a gnome. He's got 6 arms, pink eyes, violet skin, a tapir's nose, and when he gets angry, his head doubles in size. Does it raise his intimidation? Roll me a d20. If you get a 20, it does. Take the second roll. Not that 8, we'll take the second roll. A 14, no, it doesn't raise his intimidation. But his head does double in size in a fucking grotesque way. A true monster of a being. Okay. Back over here. Sand continues to fill the chamber. What does Gary do? Eat the sand. Put the sand in a bag of holding. Find something to stand on. Spider climb to the ceiling. Light a torch you don't need, you can see. Cast warding wind. Stuff the mouths. Look up to the ceiling of that room. Check for anything out of the ordinary. Plumrug is absolutely obsessed with the ceiling of the room. Share the potion of wall walking and march on through. There is no doorway that leads out of this place. I don't really know what that one means, but it's going in there. Can they destroy the statues? When you guys just put questions to me like that, there's really nothing I can do about it. When you just ask me questions for the answers, I don't know what you want me to do about it. You have to put suggestions in here and then we'll do checks. So you guys have to suggest something for Gary to do. Gary will then attempt to do it, and that will provide you with information, as opposed to just asking me. Because if you could just ask me questions like that, you could say, Brad, how do we beat this room? So what you want to do is just say, like, when I ask for suggestions, it's not of questions, it's like actions or things, creative things that you can think for Gary to do, rather than it be a question, because I can't really, there's no point in me just answering questions. You know what I mean? That makes sense? Stuff the mouths is the plan. Okay. Stuff the mouths with? What would you like to try and stuff the mouths with? I'll have a quick look here of what stuff you've got. You've got alchemist supplies, a shield, pots, some clothes, a backpack, quarterstaff, swords, a bedroll, rope, keys, potions, necklace, a Pokemon Master Ball. You don't actually have one of those anymore, do you? Cloth of gold vestments, scrolls, bunch of potions and stuff. So stuff the mouse with what? Sand is hilarious. Yeah, Justin, I think I came across as aggressive there, but I'm incredibly unwell. The Disby move. Pieces of rubble. I know you, yeah. I'm not actually being aggressive. 90% of the time I'm coming across as the most aggressive man you'll ever meet. The room is filling with sand. What would you like to attempt to stuff the thing with? Fire breath. I see what you want to do there. Okay. Bedroll. The red ball gown from Resident Evil. All right. Yeah, you're realizing now. You're understanding D&D now, aren't you? Where you're like, we're gonna stuff the things that are pouring sand out, and then you look around everyone. With what? And no one's got anything. No, we haven't got anything to stuff it with. Fuck. Just use the fire breath. Attack it. Just attack it then. If we can't do anything, punch. Shit. The room is filling with sand, guys. Guys, the room is filling with sand. Fire breath is the plan here. Okay. There is also the option of just spinning the wheel and hoping for a Deus Ex Machina or something good to happen. On the wheel spin, there are several different options. There are things like teleport and Deus Ex Machinas. But at the moment, while you're in the dungeon, specifically while you're in this dungeon, there are 3 white segments that are dungeon effects, in which we spin on another D12 table with 6 positive and 6 negative outcomes that could potentially happen while you're in this dungeon. So spinning that wheel while you're in this dungeon provides all sorts of extra shit at the moment. Just because I feel like it's fun to add things on the wheel. Temporary things for the wheel every now and then, you know. Chen, my son, thank you for the 5 subs, my friend. Your plan is to use fire, of course. How many potions of fire breath have you got? How many left? Because I think you had 2, maybe. This will be the last one. Okay. What is a potion of fire breath? Fire breathing? Potion of fire breath. Breath of fire. God, I want to play those games. After drinking this potion, you can use a bonus action to exhale fire at a target within 30 feet of you. The target must make a DC 13 dexterity saving throw, taking 46 fire damage on a failed save. Well, I would say it's 50 feet above you. The mouth opening sand is just the most confusing way to write it. Is 50 feet above you. How do you blow fire that at this? Spider climb. Yeah, he has natural spider climb, right? Now, because you guys are broken as shit and still can't. Yes, because he's got 6 arms, he can climb up a wall. Seg fly, a dragon. Toss me. Alright. Those are the options. Spider climb up, have Seg fly you up, or
Toss me. Seg.
no, it'd be Smasher, wouldn't it?
Smasher. Toss me.
Dude, when's that fucking Lord of the Rings anime coming out? Gimme. Also, when does the Terminator anime come out? That's sick. It's set in Japan as well, right? Give me a Terminator set in Japan that's an anime. Oh, thanks. Isn't that out like this week or next week? Yeah, PB. Look it up. There is a Terminator anime coming out like next week, I think. It's on like Netflix. And I think it's in Japan. I don't know any more about it because I won't look up stuff beyond that. Okay, you're going to climb. Gary runs across the sand, which is now filling the room. It's gotten pretty high in this room, and he jumps. His 6 arms gluing to the wall. He looks like Spider-Man. Do you remember when he's called Man Spider, isn't he? Man Spider. Fucking the worst thing ever when Spider-Man turns into the Man Spider. This fucking thing. That's what he does. He jumps at the fucking wall like that. His fucking horrible 6 arms attached to the wall, and he climbs up. Halfway up one of his arms, drinks the potion, and maybe I have... No, I don't. That's a shame. I might have... I don't. God damn it. I'll just do... What I'll do is I'll do sound effects with my own mouth. A breath of flame launches from Gary's mouth towards where the sand is pouring out from the opening. The sand pouring out from this opening, as well as the kind of the front part of where this statue is, kind of melts a little bit, is what happens at first. There's like parts of it that kind of superheat, and then turn into kind of, yeah, molten glass. It does actually kind of seal this statue for a moment. Then there's a bit of a build up, and then the molten glass kind of breaks and shatters, and a burst of sand comes out, and it continues to pour. You've wrecked the top of this statue, but ultimately it doesn't do enough to hold back the full continual buildup of sand behind it. The pressure breaks through. Is this done? How long do you get this for? How long can you use this? The effect ends after you extinguish the fire 3 times, or when 1 hour has passed. So you still could use this within the next hour 2 more times. So just be aware of that. Each statue is holding a dish above their heads, a sun dish. Yes. Sand is filling the chamber. What does Gary do? Plan C. What else? Talk to the sand. Ask it to stop. Why you guys didn't just play? Next time when Gary dies, or when you complete this, remember that we must play a non-spellcasting, charisma-based character. Because you guys, spells are the most annoying thing ever. Because no one knows what they are. You know? You must only play a fighter. From now on, whenever I fucking run one of these, you play non-spellcasters and just charisma based, because you just try and talk everything out of everything every time. Go west. Punch the middle of the mosaic, which is now under sand. Panic and lash out. Submit to the sand. Accept fate. Rotate the sun dish. Use the crystal to create a black hole to empty out the sand. Okay. Can only fit 8 options on there, otherwise it goes off screen here. Sand is filling the chamber. I wish I had like a sand filling sound effect for this whole thing. I didn't realize we were going to be in here for this long. I wonder if I can find one. Sound effects. Sand pouring. It's going to be 1 second long. Oh wow, it's tan noise. I may need this in the future. I'm going to keep it forever. Sand is pouring into the chamber. I'm going to attempt to rotate the sun dish. Okay, let's have a check for it, I think. Make me an athletics check while you're up there. This is a -2 Gary has. He has 6 arms, but they're small and dumpy. He's only small and frail, even though he has many arms. Take the second roll so as to flush out the previous rolls. A 7? No. That's the first one. Okay, keep going. Keep going. You have to eat more, Ron. Is it Ron? What is that quote? You have to keep eating. It's drinking, isn't it? But who is it? Who are they? Remember, Harry, you said you'd keep drinking. 16 -2 is a 14. Here's what you learn. Gary scurries up the wall like a fucking horrible, grotesque, bulbous, gnomish spider. He gets around to the top part of the statue. There's about maybe 8 feet between himself and the ceiling. Between the top of the statue and the ceiling, there's about 10 feet from the mouth to the top of the ceiling. He pops himself on top of the sun dish. For the most part, it just looks like a statue. It even looks like it's partially embedded into the wall itself. He starts to shift and turn the thing with all of his might. It doesn't seem to move. What you do get from this is that the sun dish doesn't move. This isn't a failure on his part to be strong enough to move it. It's just not mechanical in any way. It's literally just part of the wall, part of the statue. The sun dish has no bearing on the mechanical element of this puzzle, is what you get from that. Sand is filling the chamber. Any other options? Wheel, question mark? You know what? Justin? Sure. Wheel, question mark.
Why does it move?
We will never know. We may never find out. Because Justin is insane.
My name isn't Justin.
Yes, it is. Justin SoFlo is such a 2010 rapper name. It's unbelievable. Bew Bew's getting sick of this shit. Bew Bew. Bew Bew's like, fuck this. Bew Bew's done, dude. Donezo. No more, says Bew Bew. Okay, that's another wheel spin from Chen, Bew Bew, and Shadow. Rage says, fuck this shit. The plan is to talk to the sand and ask it to stop. Don't let me forget, because first we've got 2 wheel spins. Insta Rage, Bew Bew, Chen, thank you very much for the subs. I appreciate you. Currently, this is the only stream keeping me afloat monetarily. I am not fucking kidding when I tell you I accidentally, by pure chance, came in so clutch with my own sub count by coming up with doing this every week, because I would have been so fucked over the last couple of months. It's unbelievable. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying these streams. I'm enjoying doing them as well. I'm a little like, kind of running 3 D&D games a week is kind of killing me. But also, I can do this shit in my sleep now. I'm actually a little bit scared of the new D&D rules that are coming out because I'm going to need to learn them. Okay, Beckor, thank you very much for the 30 months. Let's spin the wheel. Wheel spin. Let's see. Maybe you'll get a Deus Ex Machina that will save you from the room. Nope, you might get an item that will save you from the room, though. Let's see. Let's see if... Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh no, 11. So hold on. 1d11. This will be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. An arcane focus item. The magical power level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A d6. 3. This is going to be power level medium. And it's generating me 5 of them. Let's see what you get here. Another wheel spin. Coming up. That's generating an item for some reason. It's not done it yet. Are Lux's gift subs worth ×2? No, they're not. But you do get quad vantage on your next check. Okay, this clearly isn't working great. Alright, roll me a d20, chat. I'll use my old item table. I was going to see if you could pull out something something special here, but you're going to get a random item. And you also have quad vantage on your next check. The Time Dagger. The room is filling with sand. It is 79% full. The room starts filling quicker with sand. Why am I doing that? I've got a sound effect. A sand effect. The most quiet sound effect you'll ever hear in your life. It's filling very quickly. Let's get a roll. We'll take the second number. You get a random item here on one of these D20 tables that I've got. A 6. Oh, bag of sweets, rhubarb and custard. Disgusting, by the way. Rhubarb and custard sweets are gross. Bag of sweets, candy, rhubarb, and custard. I don't even know if you get that in America. Americans watching. Rhubarb and custard? What the hell is that? You get some rhubarb and custard sweets. It would look something like this. That is kind of activating my trypophobia for some reason. That's the mental state I'm in today, it turns out. Last meal. Food has come in pretty clutch for this campaign, that's true. Okay. Just materializing in his pockets because the spell wind kicks up. Rhubarb and custard sweets in Gary's pocket. He's frantically moving around the room, the sand filling the room. The room is now almost entirely filled with sand. And he... What's that? Oh, delicious. Rhubarb and custard, that is. Seg is like, Gary, do something. The sand. The sand. Smasher is just face down, floating in the sand. Fully dead. Now you have quad vantage on your next check. Thank you, Shadow. Thank you, Lux. For the gift subs towards another wheel spin there. You got some sweets and you got quad vantage. Can you wild shape? You can wild shape, yes. Would you like to? I don't know. Sand is filling the chamber. This is probably going to be your last chance to do something. You have quad vantage if it's a check of some sort. But what would you like to do? So there's plan C. Talk to the sand. Go west, we'll take out for now. Punch the middle of the mosaic. You can't see the mosaic. Panic and lash out. Submit to the sand. Use the crystal to create a black hole. Wheel, question mark, we can return. Fall back to the previous room. Accept failure. Any other options? I'll put in wild shape just for Dovus. Fire breath sand to make glass that can reflect light and reflect it to the hollow part of the statue. Use potion of wall walking to leave the room or find the mechanics to end it. That's not going to work. Eat sand. You can't just use a potion and solve the puzzle. I use this random potion, which has no direct effect on the puzzle, to solve the puzzle. Solve puzzle. Gabe is like, yeah, what I would like to do is put the option on the screen for solve puzzle. In a very non-German way, ich mochte das Rätsel lösen, ohne mich an die Regeln zu halten. I would like to find what is in the room. The most German answer. I'm wondering why we are solving this puzzle by doing different... Just solve the puzzle. Okay, the options are fall back to the previous room, accept failure, fire breath sand to make glass that can reflect light and reflect it to the hollow part of the statue. It's a deal breaker. Next person to break this, 6 or 8 will be the answer. I looked away. Fire breath the sand to make glass that can reflect light and reflect it to the hollow part of the statue. Is the plan here. The sand filling the room. Gary looking around, looking at the sand filling, and just another burst of flame, the second of 3 available to him. You see it rush, creating this kind of like molten sand across the room, the lumpy sand that's filling from the sides of the room are almost entirely filled at this point. A wash of molten sand, some of it crystallizing into glass, reflecting absolutely no light. There is no light in this room, which I told you. The sand fills the room to the point where you are now drowning. Is the rules for drowning different when you're in sand in D&D? A creature can hold its breath for a number of minutes equal to 1 plus its constitution modifier. This gives me such fucking anxiety to listen to. It's unbelievable. And you said it was light coming from the cracks in the ceiling? No. And if I did, I changed my mind. That's why I went through and said that Gary has dark vision so he can see. Seg has dark vision so he can see. And Smasher. That's the delay. Count the seconds. Smasher is blind in here. Also, by the way, that would have done absolutely nothing. So either way, you're drowning. It would have done nothing. So you're drowning. You're drowning, I said. Oh. What a lovely experience of drowning it is. Okay. Number of minutes equal to 1 plus the constitution modifier. 1 plus 1. 2 minutes for Gary. 1 plus 1 is 2 minutes for Seg. 1 plus 3, 4 minutes for Smasher. The sand has completely filled the room now. Gary with his 6 arms is just... Everyone's pinned against the ceiling at this point. This one's good, this song. Everyone is suffocating and trapped inside the sand. What does Gary do? Spins the wheel. You know what? I'll do this first. We'll come back. Hold on. Because this will probably change everything. Spin for companion. Okay. 1 for Seg, 2 for Smasher. Seg. Seg gets resistance. Let's hope it's to sand. Normally there are 13 damage types. I'm gonna say there is now 14. Because sand is now a damage type. If you roll a 14, a 5. Force damage. There may be an argument here that he is being crushed to death by force damage. And that will save him. But probably not. Seg is resistant to force damage for the remainder of this session. Thank you very much, Plumrug. Thank you very much, Shadow, for that wheel spin. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's exactly going to save you right now. What does Gary do? Let's see. Warding Wind is a spell which creates a gust of wind around Gary. Wild Shape into Lizard. Attempt to grab everyone and escape. I don't know why I capitalize random words, by the way. I just like it. Call Death on a Nokia 3310. My favorite phone of all time. Destroy the ceiling. Cast Thunderwave. Wild Shape into Giant Snake. And then again, attempt to grab everyone and escape. Wild Shape into a Badger. You're going to split all the Wild Shapers. Eat sand. Okay. The choice is yours. Suffocating. Trapped. The chamber filling with sand. This is the song. I went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 iterations of a song called Hurry Gary before landing on this one. This is the exact level of panic I want from my music. My music, my life, my heart, my soul. My music, my everything, I give my all. What have you got? Wild Shape into Giant Snake, attempt to grab everyone and escape. I think this isn't going to work out for you the way that you want it to. Because I don't think Gary can turn into a snake. Doesn't he turn into Solid Snake? Isn't this... Oh no, he can turn into a constrictor. No, he turns into a Constrictor Snake or a CR2 Solid Snake. That's right. That could have been bad, dude. If I didn't see Snake in this list, I wasn't going to allow it. Now, he can turn into a Constrictor Snake, which isn't a giant snake, though, is it? Oh, it is. Large. Okay. Gary begins to Wild Shape. Turning into a giant snake. This is the most horrendous thing. This snake appears bulbous, horrible giant pink eyes, lumps all throughout this snake, and it begins to attempt to burrow. Can snakes burrow? Can snakes burrow through sand? They must be able to, surely, but I'm just going to double check. Yes, some snakes can burrow through sand, including desert snakes, sand-dwelling vipers, and banded snakes. That's good enough for me. That's good enough for me. Some DMs would be like, well, technically, you turned into a constrictor snake, and boa constrictors they're natural. They stay in trees. They're not actually desert snakes, so they wouldn't actually be able to burrow. You would just be trapped against the ceiling. That's what would happen if we allowed fucking Orcish to run a fucking D&D game, and that's why we don't. That motherfucker, that piece of shit. No one likes him anyway, dude. I don't know why he keeps coming around. Sorry. Where was I? Snake. A snake appears. A giant snake. Okay, let's have a strength check, I think, from this snake to attempt to burrow down and burrow through this sand. You've still got a minute of breath. A minute of breath. We take the second roll. Burrow constrictors will occasionally burrow into the jungle ground. That's so just... I never ever want to leave a city, basically, you know. I'm always like, oh man, you know, it'd be really nice to go to. And then I'm like, oh yeah, spiders and things that can burrow into your fucking eyeballs. And boa constrictors that are underground. You know what? I'm here. I'll stay here. You know what? I actually just remembered I'm going to be staying indoors on my fucking computer. Oh, do you know what I just remembered? I'm going to be staying indoors on my fucking computer all fucking day. And never bloody leaving. What was the number, by the way? A 2? Oh, no. Oh, it's not going your way today, is it? Guys. A 2? Quad vantage! We take the highest of all rolls. We'll take that 7 into account. The 2. Roll 2 more. Quad vantage. An 18. Keep rolling. See if you're getting that 20. Wow. A 10. So this is an 18. The snake has a +2 to strength. As Gary starts burrowing down. Moving through the sand. Let's see. You have blind sight up to 10 feet. Let's have a perception check from the snake to try and find Seg and Smasher. You have the blind sight. So I think it's only 10 feet. Room's not that big. I'll give you advantage because snakes have blind sight. I mean, it's pretty fucking clutch to have blind sight in this scenario specifically. So you can have advantage. Start rolling. We won't take that second. We'll take the higher of the next 2 rolls. Can you save Seg? Can you save Smasher? A 7. The 7 being the first roll. We take the higher of the 2. A 10. 10's pretty rough. I'd say you find one of them. Now the choice I'm going to give you. Save Seg. Save Smasher. You know that moment in a game? There was one in Castlevania the other day. Why do I want to call it Castlevania every time? Wolfenstein. Where you have to pick... It's at this point that we're going to replay the game from this point. Make a save file. You get a +4 to our perception. Why do you? You have a +0. You're a snake. You get the snake's physical properties. Because you're a snake. Not Gary. And it has a +0. A grotesque little blind snake. Paid so much to unlock Smasher. Oh, when you fucking buy a thing. I bought a thing on Marvel Snap. Remind me to tell you about Marvel Snap later on. Just remind me to tell you about Marvel Snap. A thing I paid for on Marvel Snap. Okay, Seg. Burrowing through the sand. Giant constrictor snake Gary finds an individual. He's sort of a heat signature, predator style or whatever. I don't know how snakes fucking have blind sight. And you see him wrap around the form of Seg, burrowing downwards. He burrows through, and then this giant fucking horrible bulbous snake bursts out from the small kind of opening that was made in the debris to the entrance chamber, uncurling and uncoiling, Seg rolling out, spitting out sand pouring out through the hole. Seg goes,
Damn it, why? Why'd you pick me? Get back in there. Don't you get it, you son of a bitch.
He does that scene, you know that scene in the scene from Wolfenstein the other day, but they also do it in every movie where you pick someone. Why'd you pick me? Why'd you pick me? Grabbing the snake. Gary bursts back into the sand. I need another athletics check. Let's see if you can save Smasher. Here's the thing. It's been 2 minutes. You saved Seg on minute 1. He was going to start choking. But remember I said earlier on, Seg had 2 minutes of oxygen, but Smasher has 4 minutes of oxygen. So actually picking Seg was the correct answer. Congratulations. It was a trick from your DM. It was a trick. Start rolling some dice. We take the second dice roll. This is for the athletics check to see if you can burrow through the sand. Failure here will consume 1 minute of time. You're 2 minutes in. You got 2 left before Smasher dies. I can't remember what happens. Starts making death saves. A 4. What was the first roll? No, that is the roll, isn't it? Gary's trying to burrow through, but where the sand is pouring out through the entranceway, it's much more difficult for him to gain purchase and burrow through this thing. It takes him a lot longer to worm his way in. He's like a sperm trying to get into the egg, but he can't. Struggling, eventually he does make it through, but this consumes a full minute of your time. You have 1 minute to find Smasher. This is a perception check with advantage, but you have +0. You have advantage from the blind sight, but you are a blind snake. This is the roll. You've got to find Smasher on this roll, or she begins making death saves. Oh no, I think she just dies, actually. We take the second roll, so not that 13. The quad's already been used. Is that a natural 1? Oh, fucking hell. Bursting out from the hole, Seg is standing there, and the snake comes out again. You have advantage. Okay, roll again. I thought that was the advantage. One more roll. Another one. Bursting out from the hole, filled with sand, uncoiling this giant bulbous grotesque snake, and Smasher, the huge form of this Kenku paladin in heavy armor gung, 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 rolls over a few times before landing limp face down on the ground. Seg rushes over. Slow motion. Pure slow motion. Seg running over. Slides into place next to the form of Smasher. Turning over Smasher's body. Sand everywhere. Seg starts shaking this huge form. No response. At the start of its next turn, drops to 0 hit points. Is choking. Drops to 0 hit points and is dead. Okay. Smasher is dead. I will spin the wheel and you need to get something good. The options on this wheel are something good, Deus Ex, maybe I'll allow. There's a couple of other things that if they land on it I'll allow, but it's like a 1 in 30. How many options are on there? Probably a 1 in 20. Let's see. A wheel spin from Debiru, Bubu, and Shadow, I think, somewhere in there.
Are you kidding me, dude?
Are you fucking kidding me, dude? A Deus Ex? Are you joking? All right. I mean, the thing is, what do you want to happen? Anything. Smasher smashes out of the sand. What else? You can pick other things. Best center back. Get rid of the sand in the other room. Smasher can stay dead. Smasher's twin shows up. Seg shakes the sand out of her. Smasher gets revived from her god, which I can't remember who we picked. Did we pick one? You cheeky shit, Kyrie. Smasher wakes up and having seen how to solve the room. Smasher solved the puzzle. Smasher solved the puzzle 20 minutes ago. You guys are fucking... You're awful people. We want everything. You want it. You win the Deus Ex. It's a pay to win game. There are microtransactions. It's always been pay to win. I don't feel good about it, but it is the only way I can pay rent. Oh, I can't believe you rolled a Deus Ex. I absolutely cannot believe that. That is unbelievable. Smasher wakes up and having seen how to solve the room. By the way, if you'd picked the last one, Smasher solved the puzzle 20 minutes ago, nothing would have happened. She would have just stayed dead. Seg is leaning over the corpse of Smasher. And he says,
You should have saved me, Gary. You should have saved me.
he's drunk already. He's got a fucking thing of, he's got a thing of liquor. He's already doing the drunk scene.
On that day, you should have saved me.
The guy from, the fucking drunk dude in the wheelchair from Forrest Gump. However, Smasher's eyes open, but it's exactly the way it looks in that movie with in Blade, where his eyes open, but they're CGI'd on. Boom. And she sits up like the fucking Undertaker, and just opens her mouth, beak, and a ton of sand comes out. An unbelievable amount of sand comes out. Seg turns to one side. The giant snake form of Gary. Smasher sits up. And says... God, I hate clicking onto websites nowadays. Smasher says, I hate going to funerals because I'm not a mourning person. Because she can only speak in puns. Seg goes running over to Smasher. Oh, Smasher, I thought you were dead. Grabs her, the snake curling around all of them and beginning to constrict them again. A cartoonish scene as everybody welcomes Smasher back. Smasher wasn't dead, turns out. I guess. Smasher wasn't dead, because that's what the Deus Ex was. Just Smasher wakes up. Didn't come back from death. Didn't do anything, just woke up, was asleep. And knows how to solve the puzzle. Smasher points to the room and says,
If I seem puzzled today, it's because I fell asleep on one of our jigsaws last night.
Gary and Seg look at her kind of confused, and she shakes her head and says,
Doing puzzles is great. It's like I'm part of something bigger.
Gary and Seg look at each other, and Smasher shakes her head and says, I tried to solve the giraffe puzzle, but it was too tall of an order. And she shakes her head, and then she turns around and she begins to Oppenheimer scratch into the bank of sand that is pouring out from the hole still. A bunch of symbols and things. Gary looks at the symbols, looks at Smasher, looks at Seg and says,
I think she's figured out how to get through that room.
Seg says,
Oh shit, alright.
you can talk as a snake? And Gary says,
No, I can't.
I cannot. Smasher says, what's a puzzle's favourite horror villain? Jigsaw. Then no one gets that one. Doesn't make any sense. Let's have an intelligence check from Gary. An investigation check. +2 to this check. From you in the chat room. Let's see if you can figure it out. Not that 19, unfortunately, Bubio. The next one. Can Gary figure it out? A 3. Man, you guys today. 5. Gary says, Because he's a snake. Gary has no idea what any of this means. Smasher stands up and points furiously at the hole on the where the sand is still kind of pouring through. Gary hisses again. What does Gary do? Currently still a snake. Voice is yours. Exit dungeon. Eat the sand. The rolls have been horrendous. Yeah, pay to win. Sting is okay. You don't need to add that on the thing. Never felt so defeated after a victory. Well, it was a survival of a failure, wasn't it? Rather than a victory. Okay. These are the options. No one wrote anything else. Exit dungeon or eat the sand are the two options that you have. Just the you know, like if I were to on the screen in this JRPG is just two options that come up. Okay. Eat the sand. Did Smasher explain what was in the room? Yes, but Smasher can't speak, and Gary couldn't interpret what it meant. Gary, in frustration, opens his snake mouth and eats some sand. What is this sound effect? That is apparently a shrinking sound. How about this sound? Smasher and Seg see Gary shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink. Gary shrinks down to the quantum zone, quantum realm. Gary shrinks down and down and down until he becomes small enough that sand becomes large. A sand version of Gary now appears, small enough to move through. Well, the sand, he's not actually the size of a grain of sand. He shrinks down to small enough that he can move over and through the sand very easily. By moving through the sand, he can move through into the next room and see the cracks in the ground where the mosaic tiles are. Around some of the tiles, the ones that were clicking and moving, are access points to the next chamber. Swims back out through the sand very easily. Pops back out and looks at Smasher, looks at Seg, and they look down. They see a tiny little snake. Smasher nods her head. She had written out the full equation on the sand of exactly how this works. This is the full Oppenheimer equation of magic. He scoops up a bit of sand and she shrinks. Seg, oh, I don't really like eating. Sand. Grabs a bit of sand and eats it. And shrinks down to small enough to be able to move into the next chamber. Of course the answer was eat sand. The moment it appeared on my fucking screen, the answer was always going to be eat sand. I've never wished death on anyone more. I think that's the end of our session today. As you step into the next room, the next chamber, and in the next chamber, stomping around, 3 little versions of Snake Gary, Smasher, and Seg swim down into the next chamber, falling with the sand that's falling through the cracks, landing. They look around and moving around in this room are several demonic ogres. Alright, well, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for participating in this week's episode of The Legend of Gary. I hope you guys had fun. Eat sand. Was the answer, of course. And you move into the next room. I'm just trying to find... I can't find it. Never mind. I'll have to make notes for next time. Very close to losing a party member today. Yeah, I was about ready to do it. I was about ready to do it. That was a very clutch... That was a very clutch ending. Oh yeah, the Marvel Snap story. Do you have oh, if you want to claim this wheel spin, now's the time to do it, because it will fuck off for next week. You have until I finish this story. Let's see if I can find it. The only thing I've bought in Marvel Snap, I didn't pay money for it, but there you do get these you get gold. You can start next week with a wheel spin if we hit this thing, so that those 5 don't go to waste. In Marvel Snap, you don't get. You can pay money. I haven't spent a penny on it, but there is like like in games there are like. Thank you very much. We start next week with a wheel spin. Don't let me forget. Anyway, I'll write a little note here for it. There's like a currency in Marvel Snap that comes with within the game. There's a couple of different currencies, but there's one that's like rare, right? The super rare currency that you can spend actual money on and it actually becomes currency in the game. And whenever I win a game, I put a shitty little emote on the screen because I'm petty and I love tilting people out. So I tilt people. If I can tilt people out, I'll do it. That's how I'll win things. Rather than ever being good at something, learning how to play the game. Exactly the same thing that's got me banned on 5 League of Legends accounts. If I can tilt you out, I've won. I win. And I actually do win games that way. You can sit there and you can learn how to play and you can be like Orcish, who's like, haha, I put 10,000 hours in the game. Haha, I put 10,000 hours in the game and you don't know how to play it. You suck. You can be that guy. Or I can put no hours in the game, come in and psychologically decimate you in the first 10 minutes. So what I like to do is like put little... But the only way you can communicate in Marvel Snap are these little emotes that just pop up on the screen. And while I was browsing the store in Marvel Snap, because you get free stuff in the store. So I was going through getting my like dailies from that. And this was in there. And I had to get it. Because when that comes up, it cost me 2,225 of my gold points, which is about all of the gold points I have acquired in the entire time I've been playing Marvel Snap. And now, every time I play a card that like destroys one of their cards or like wins a location, I pop that up on the screen. And it has to I've never even seen it before. No one's ever used one. I've never seen it come up ever. That fucking comes up. I couldn't believe it was in the game. Look at that. Shit-eating grin. It has won me more games than anything else so far. That thing comes up, and I'll also do it when I win. As soon as it comes up and goes victory right next to my name, Brad Woto, that appears. Oh, delicious. It's my favorite thing. Piece of shit. I'm a bad person and piece of shit, but it is winning me games. Spend actual currency. Everyone else in this fucking game that shows up, because I'm at the point in Marvel Snap where I'm quite good at it. Oh, sorry, did you come third in your league yesterday? I did. At the end of the league, I came third. I won a variant. I want a variant card skin, and that's what people buy. They spend all their money on these like card skins. So like you'll see a different version of Cyclops, and you can tell who's spending money on it. If I could write "you pathetic little fucking loser" in the chat room, I would, but I can't. I can only put this thing in there. But you can see who's like desperately trying to pay to like buy the cards and shit. You can't really get too far ahead in Marvel Snap by spending money, but you do get loads of different like variants for the skins and stuff. Everyone's bought skins. Everyone's bought like a new... I have like the basic fucking original Cyclops thing that comes with the game that's like my profile picture, and all of the basic skins for cards, apart from a couple that I've got just through like unlocking them through the game. And the only thing I've spent money on is that. That's what I spent all of my precious currency on in the game. Not real money, but you know, the game's most precious currency. I couldn't be happier. If I could add that as an emote to my channel, I would, because it's the best thing I've ever fucking bought in any game. 100%. All right, that's the story. See you later. I'll probably play some Age of Empires tonight if you want to watch the second channel. I'm gonna go and eat some food and try and chill out. I'm a bit exhausted when it comes to Sundays. Well, I'll get done for it though, PB, because I don't own the art. Because I'm running 3 games a week and I'm just fucking brain dead. These are hard work, man. They probably don't feel like hard work from your side of the screen to run, but all of these games of D&D are hard work. Is this game as hard to run as Cura? Not really. Is Cura as hard to run as Oracle's Rest? Definitely not. Oracle's Rest is so difficult to run because there's 55 players. But no, they're all hard to run, and it kind of uses all of my spoons in a day. That being said, yeah, I'm gonna go and relax. I'm gonna go and watch some more fucking this fucking show I've been watching. PB, have you watched? I feel like I've asked you this before. Man in the High Castle, because, and I hate this thing. You know, the thing of season 4, dude. Season 4 is so good. It's great. It's very slow, but it reminds me so much of Counterpart. It's become I don't know if it's on the level of Counterpart, but it's the same thing. And it is great. Really enjoy. I mean, maybe read the book. It's probably better, isn't it? Use the magic phrase of Counterpart. Yeah. I mean, the sci-fi element, you know what it is, right? There's just two worlds. There's one which is our world, and there's one where the Nazis won the war. But this story takes place in the world where the Nazis won the war, but they get films from the other side. Someone is able to go over there and get films of like the Allies winning and shit. So it's set just after World War One. The Allies lost, and you're in the world where it's set. I think it's set maybe in the 50s or 60s. It starts. I think it might be the 50s. It starts, and there are films coming from the other world, from our world, where they won. But it just gets better and better. And I've really enjoyed so much about the 4th season in particular. The whole thing is good. It's pretty intense. Well worth it. I'm gonna go and watch another episode, I think, and cook some dinner. So I might play some Age of Empires later on if you want to watch that on the 2nd channel, Brad Random. There's another episode of Oracle's Rest up on Table Story if you want to watch that. That probably just went live. That's gonna go live in 20 minutes on YouTube. If you want to watch some more kind of really dumb D&D stuff. Otherwise, if you actually want to see me try hard and run a proper campaign, Curas are a campaign that I'm running. Cura, Quura, is a D&D campaign I run on Table Story at the moment on Tuesdays, which you can watch too. I'll be back tomorrow with Wolfenstein, which I'm also very much enjoying and inspired me to continue watching Man in the High Castle, which I'm fucking glad I did. And I guess that's it, man. Let's go see Maya. Go and watch Man in the High Castle. And then yeah, I'll see you tomorrow for Wolfenstein, same time. Next week we'll carry on with The Legend of Gary as you progress through this dungeon. And thanks again everyone for coming out and watching the stream and enjoying the stream. And everyone that participated in the wheel spins, I appreciate you very much. It is what is paying my bills right now. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Twitch, but no one's earning. So I appreciate it. And everyone else that was rolling dice, I hope you had fun. See you later on. Peace. Bye.